Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We've got some big news today about one of the most anticipated games of the year, the remake of Silent Hill 2. If you're a fan of survival horror, you've definitely been looking forward to this one, but things have gotten a little messy if you haven't heard yet. The entire game has now leaked online. Yeah, you heard that right. The Silent Hill 2 remake spoilers and all is already making the rounds on the internet, and today we're diving into what this means for the game, the fans, and the future of horror remakes, so grab your flashlight and let's dive in. So for those of you who've been living under a rock, Silent Hill 2 is one of the most iconic survival horror games of all time. Originally released back in 2001, the game has been revered for its dark, twisted narrative and haunting atmosphere. Now, Bloober Team, the developers behind Layers of Fear and the Medium, are bringing us a full remake promising updated visuals, improved gameplay, and a reworked audio experience without changing the core story. But here's the kicker: the entire game has leaked online well ahead of its October 8th release date. Now, leaks are a pretty common thing in the gaming world, but this one is especially big because it's a full game. We're talking plot spoilers, gameplay footage, and even progression screenshots showing players already clocking in hours. If you don't want to know anything about the game, now might be a good time to log off and mute all social media. Yeah, it's pretty bad. One user, Luke76BG on Resetter, shared a screenshot where they're already 39% through the game playing on PS5. So what does this mean for people who are planning to go into the remake fresh? For one, it's going to be hard to avoid spoilers now. Plot points and major twists will be showing up all over Twitter, Reddit, and even TikTok. And while Silent Hill 2 is a classic that some of you might already know, this is a remake for a whole new generation of players. So how did this leak even happen? Well, it looks like it's a case of physical copies being shipped out early. We've seen this happen with a number of high-profile games in the past. Sometimes the physical copies are sent out ahead of schedule and boom, they're in the hands of players who can't wait to get their hands on them. This time, it seems that a few copies made their way into the wild earlier than intended, and here we are. The weird part is Silent Hill 2 is exclusive to PlayStation for a full year, with the game also launching on PC next week, but Xbox players, they're going to have to wait a lot longer. And while we've got no confirmation of a Switch version, I wouldn't hold my breath on that one with everything that's happened. It seems like an even longer wait for players on other platforms. Now, some of you might be thinking, okay, the game's leaked, but does it really spoil the whole experience? And that's a tough question. While the major plot points from Silent Hill 2 are well known to many, the remake was supposed to offer a fresh experience with modernized visuals and an even more immersive atmosphere. The game was designed with those who know the story already in mind and to offer something new for them while still delivering the same chilling tension for newcomers, but with spoilers already flooding the internet. There's a real chance that first-time players will have the big twist spoiled before they even get a chance to experience them firsthand. But hey, here's the thing: Silent Hill 2 is all about atmosphere, and I don't think you can spoil the feeling of walking through the foggy streets of Silent Hill or experiencing that eerie sense of dread that the original game nailed so well. Yes, the plot points might be out there, but the game's terrifying atmosphere, its deeply psychological elements, and its ability to keep you on edge are still going to be big draws for players. Even if you know what happens, playing through it is a different experience altogether. So what can we actually expect from the remake now that it's out there for people to play? As we mentioned earlier, Bloober Team has been pretty clear that they're sticking to the original story. They've promised no major changes to the plot, but the gameplay has been reworked. The original game's fixed camera angles are getting an upgrade, and players will now have full control of the camera, a pretty big change from the original. They've also promised improved combat with smoother animations and better controls, plus the audio has been remastered, so expect that eerie soundtrack and those unsettling sound effects to really make you feel like you're in the town of Silent Hill. And while we haven't seen too much about it yet, there are hints that the remake might also dive deeper into the psychological horror elements of the original. Bloober Team is known for that kind of eerie, mind-bending horror, so it'll be interesting to see how they handle James' journey through his personal trauma and the bizarre happenings of Silent Hill. Now, for those of you who were worried about the length of the game, don't stress. Bloober Team has said the remake will clock in around 16 to 18 hours, which isn't too bad for a horror game of this scope. They've also released the first 90 minutes of gameplay through the Two Bro YouTube channel, which shows off the early segments of the game and introduces James Sunderland as he makes his way into the creepy town. So whether you're excited to see the remake for the first time or you're already dreading spoilers popping up in your timeline, one thing's for sure: Silent Hill 2 is back, and it's got all the creepy vibes you remember and more. If you're still holding out for a completely spoiler-free experience, it might be time to lock down your social media for the next week or two. And of course, be sure to check back in here for all the latest updates on the game and more horror gaming news. Let me know in the comments, are you planning to jump into the remake on day one, or are you holding off to avoid the spoilers? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Until next time, stay spooky.